Many times you wonder when they say TGIF. I mean, it's just an acronym for Thank God It's Friday. And thank God it's Friday. We're back again on your favorite show on TV. This is Crossfire. My name is Dako Banjo. And as usual, I have with me in the studio to do justice to our discussion today, Barrister Ishoma Againe. Ishoma, how are you doing today?
Very fine, thank you. Good morning, Nigerians, and you're welcome to the show.
You know, at the initial stage, I was very, very, reluctant to look, to really dress down and put on a traditional, for the show, because I was just thinking, how can you come around to discuss serious business and you're putting on, a traditional attire, and all of that. And I just find out that it has nothing to do with the discussion, really, and all of that. And thanks to a lot of people who saw me while I was approaching the studio and telling me, oh, you look good. I mean, and that puts a lot of confidence in me.
Yes.
But your attire is not looking bad, at all.
Thank you. Trying to make,
it's keen
trying to represent my African roots correctly because I'm beautiful and happy that I'm Nigerian. I
mean, great. It's great to be. I just wonder who I really want to be. Maybe sometimes I feel like I should be an American or Briton or probably a French or an Australian, especially when you talk about the good countries that seems to be working. Anyway, this morning we have a very interesting topic that we will be discussing with you, and that is the fact that we are looking at the many sides to the election postponement, the many sides to the election postponement, the reason behind the postponement, and the effect it's had. Has anything changed? What have been the major changes that has taken place since the 6 weeks of postponement has been announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission? Anyway, this morning we'll just be, looking at many of these, many of these issues. And at the same time, we're going to be considering. Don't forget that we started about 3 days ago, and we'll be looking very fully and intensely on the role of the media, especially as it has to do with, a democratic society like Nigeria, and very importantly, focusing on the elections in 2015. So for me and you, I believe very seriously that we are back there just watching the show and being a part of us, and you can participate as usual. You can reach us on our toll-free number in case you just don't want to, spend any money on your phone. And that is 080-000-COOL-TV. And then you can be a part of the show and let us know your thoughts on some of the discussions that we will be having. Ishoma, now, I was just thinking, yesterday, information getting, making stories. And that is very interesting. That former President Olusegun Obasanjo has signed off finally to become, a true nationalist. I heard at the conference, that held at the Presidential Library in Abeokuta yesterday, where he's being celebrated, on his 78th birthday. And then Oyegwe, who happens to be the national chairman of the APC, said that immediately they learned about the tearing of former President Olusegun Obasanjo's membership card to the PDP, that what they decided to do was to issue him, a clean bill, an APC, membership card. And that's when, when they thought about
according to your own fact.
Yeah, that was what he said. That was what, yes, he said that. But that at the end of the day, by the information getting to them was saying that Baba has made up his mind, is not going to be partisan any longer. He wants to be a true nationalist, and he wants to just
comment
be
on the
true,
ills which the nation is facing, and also prefer solution on how they can be solved. And I think that's fantastic. I mean, coming from a man of his reputation, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Because for me, I think having the person of former President Olusegun Obasanjo as a Nigerian and someone who has been around for quite a while, he's ruled this country as a military head of state.
He's played a whole lot of roles, formidable roles in saying that Nigeria is united as a nation.
Because that's the best thing. Because I see his partisanship over the years as a major reason why we have predominantly have a party, since Nigeria transited into democracy, ruling Nigeria for about 16 years. I think it's a very major one. Because if you look at his effect, his credibility, his integrity, and his firmness when it comes to national issue, I think it has over time made the ruling party gain ground in the last 16 years.
Very
In the
true.
federal level.
But then we can only hope that, since he's decided to stay neutral, we only hope that he'll be ready to give, throw his weight behind to staying that we have a new Nigeria.
Anyway, very, very interesting.
That's all we can hope for.
Very, very interesting. And then again, we have another story making headlines, and that is exciting. Like I heard somebody who picked up the newspaper and they saw the headline I think it was Tribune, saying Chibok girls have been located and they are safe, and the president promised that they will be returned back to their parents soon. I mean, that is a very interesting story.
For you. But there are a whole lot of Nigerians are not stupid enough to believe that, because they will tell you, come on. How many weeks to the elections? No. I mean, a lot of Nigerians would not believe. Come on. How long? How many days were they taken away? How many months?
But haven't you seen the effect?
The truth is, a lot of Nigerians will tell you that, particularly based on the assumptions, and the reports made by the APC, that PDP had a plan to unleash a fake Shekau, someone who was paid, who was trained in speaking and acting like Shekau. And later on, they will come and say, oh, we've finally caught Shekau, to make it seem like they were on top of their game, whereas they were all feeding lies to the people. Now, my issue
don't you think the president's statement about we underestimated Boko Haram? What's your take on that statement?
A lot of Nigerians will tell you also that that is the same thing. Because mind you, there were reports also that no Chibok girl, there was nothing like Chibok girls being taken. All of a sudden now, oh, we can't find them, they've sold them out, this and that. And all of a sudden now you've located where they are. Do you really think that these girls will be somewhere all in one, and then you just go and ambush them? Come on, a lot of Nigerians are looking deep into this to tell that there's a whole lot of fraud.
Can you look at this scenario?
This is not true. A lot of Nigerians will tell that that's not true.
Can you look at this scenario? We have a situation when Osama bin Laden, unveiled himself as the head of the Al-Qaeda. I mean, the whole world were able to, hold on.
A lot of people will tell you that. A lot of people will also tell you that all of that were conspiracy theories. That Osama bin Laden would not have submitted himself easily to the court.
The whole world knew what Osama bin Laden looks like. If really and truly Shakirao, the head of the Boko Haram, as it were, is confident about their operations, and he knows that, that they mastered their act.
How many Shakals do we have?
That is the point. Because
no, wait.
Do you know
with the same facial identity?
Yesterday.
The first one was killed. They said, oh, yes, we killed. And later they released a video and said, no. They killed the second one. Yeah. Are you Jesus that you resurrect all the time, and now you're telling me there's another Shekau?
Jesus even resurrected only once.
Please, no, I know, but that's what I'm asking myself, that how true. I hope that this government would they won't act so desperate to win the next election, and then they will come up with all sorts of things, whether true or false, just to get the people vote. These are lives who have been lost. Do not play politics with the intelligence of people.
You cannot conclude that these lives have been lost.
I'm talking about lives of Nigerians who have been lost to Boko Haram. So we need to find lasting solutions. But let's not politicize these issues. But then, Chibok girls will return safely.
I mean, hopefully, we're trusting God, and we're believing in the act of our military. Now that they've been on top of their game. Can't you see that the activities of Boko Haram
as we've been told?
No, but how many information or news, about their operations have you read recently? Do you understand?
As we've been told.
So
it's subject to verification. It's 100% true.
Anyway, for me, we pray that, and we wish that the government has promised that the Chibok girls have been located, and that very soon we will have them all returned back to their families. And that is the prayer, that all Nigerians have been praying, and we just want to believe that it will come to pass. All right, we'll proceed on a very short break now, and then when we come back, we'll take this conversation to another level. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. This is Crossfire, and in our midst, once again, with us in the studio is this gentleman. We've been enjoying him in the last 2 days, and he's back here in the studio, and we're trying as much as possible. You know, we introduced that topic when we started, and we've been looking at the many sides of the election postponement. I mean, has it favored the government, or it has actually favored, you know, Nigerians? Because since then, consequences on the election shift has its effect on the nation's integrity, economy, political will, unity, the politicians themselves, the electorate, institutions, and the effects of the insurgency in the land has become subject of intense discussion. And so we're going to be looking at the many sides of the postponement. What are the reasons which we have mentioned, and what are the side effects? How many things has it affected? Has it favored the government, or it has favored Nigerians? And that's what we're looking at. Mr. Victor Orhororho is back in the studio with us to help us look at the role of the media in all of this, and at the same time make very vital contribution to what we'll be discussing today. Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, you know, just like I earlier said, we're looking at the many side, you know, to the election postponement. It's 6 weeks, and what we did on the show was to say, okay, hashtag 6 weeks Nigeria. What are the major things that we've been observing? Like I just said, you know, the economic effect, the unity of Nigerians, the electorate, you know, a lot of other institutions, the banks, the markets, you know, so many things that are, you know, that makes a nation. What has been the effect of the postponement? Has it been positive, you know, to Nigerians that we postpone the elections? I mean, we can look at it when we say, is it positive? We can look at it, does it guarantee that eventually in Nigeria we eventually have a free, a fair, a credible, you know, elections come March the 28th? Since, I mean, March 28th and April 11th is sacrosanct. I mean, for me, I believe very seriously that we should be able to see some of this. And Nigerians are watching, and they really want to know what has really changed, you know, since the declaration of the 6th. From a media point of view, what do you think has changed?
Quite a lot has changed. The postponement has had implication on quite a lot of sectors of the Nigerian life, you know. For the politicians, particularly for the ruling party, it has given an opportunity to re-strategize, because the reports that were coming in, were trickling in before the postponement, was that things were to go awry for the ruling party. And so it afforded an opportunity to re-strategize. Only yesterday, we had a guest from the APC in the studio on radio, and someone asked him that since the postponement of the elections, it appears like the PDP has had an upper hand in radio campaign, in jingles, political jingles, since the postponement, you know. So this was part of the strategy, to re-strategize, and okay, let them spend their money. They have spent money, now they are broke. Let's start our own campaign. You know, that kind of thing.
So
all of that is
to say the
political strategy.
Postponement was not really,
in
not 100% in the interest of Nigerians.
It's party-driven.
As we were made to believe.
Yeah.
It is, but on the long run, I think it is also in the interest of the Nigerian people. You know, the reason I say this is, if you had had that election...
How do you mean, sorry, how do you
in
mean
the interest of the Nigerian people?
In the interest of the Nigerian people, in the sense that if you had had that election at the level of distribution of PVCs that we had at that time, a lot more people than now would have been disenfranchised. Okay. And if you go on with an election like that, the level of acrimony, the level of bickering would have been much more than what it would be if we go the election
knowing
now.
fully well, knowing fully well, you know, that Nigeria does not have, that you cannot particularly trust the integrity of data, you know, that Nigerians bring about. There's a bombing somewhere, and they tell you 10 people died. Meanwhile, 65 people or 100 people died. And that's why oftentimes when an incident is being reported, throughout the week, you have disparity in data.
And that's why
13
a lot of
14 people, 15
people prefer to even read
So
and
why
follow
are we so sure?
international media reports.
How can we verify
The thing
that the
is-
new percentage of PVC being distributed
Is actually accurate?
That is actually accurate, because as at yesterday, INEC is saying well over 85%, as against 73, 75 last week. That 85% of eligible voters have collected their PVCs. How can we trust that? You know, in the bid to actually cover up for the 6 weeks, that, okay, it will enhance more people, you know, it will eventually afford, you know, more people to be able to pick up their PVCs, and so not being disenfranchised in the coming elections. How do you, I mean, how can you confirm?
Well, I get what your point, but the thing is, even if you're not, even if we cannot trust the statistics, the figures they're giving us, 85% or 90% or 70%, even if we cannot trust that figure, at least you can trust that between when the postponement was made announced, and now more people obviously have gotten their PVCs. What percentage, I don't know, but at least more people would have had their PVCs in their hands by now, more than what we had at that time. So if the election had held at the previous February 14, between February 14 and now, more people, that's what I'm saying.
But does that guarantee at the end of the day that these people who have their PVCs on the day of the elections will go out to vote? Bearing in mind also that security is still another issue. You know, occurrence of violence is another issue that has made the people say we would not vote because we do not trust the system.
Another way to look at it, before you answer that, Ishoma, another way to look at it is that, don't you think that apathy has already set in? A lot of people made provision for the 14th of February. So many appointments were cancelled. A lot of occasions and ceremonies were cancelled, just to ensure that people participate fully. A lot of people who needed to relocate from Lagos, for instance, to their state where they registered, so that they took holidays from the office, and it just didn't happen. Don't you think more people, even though you may claim that we have a lot of people who now will participate in the elections in terms of voting, a lot of other people have developed apathy, and they don't just want to vote any longer.
Anymore.
That's right, but there's always the question of the problem of apathy in Nigerian elections is always there. Even apart from this, even if everything had gone right, there's always the question of
this would have encouraged more people.
That's right. There's always apathy because, well, will my vote count? That kind of thing. And this kind of thing happening in addition to that would make it worse. I agree. But you see, the thing is, this period, this window, this 6-week window, also would create opportunities for, in fact, that's what it has done, for the political parties to send out foot soldiers to try to psychologize
more people,
to try to win people that, hey, don't get discouraged. You know,
but then do you also think that the postponement will also aid in the commission of fraud? Because a lot of people have tried getting feedback, and I've actually seen someone come out to say, by
if he had
PVC,
gone,
people are selling their PVCs now.
By 14?
Who owns those PVCs that are being sold?
That's why the card reader issue is relevant. That's why the card reader issue is relevant.
But a lot of people are faulting the card reader.
No. The sales of the PVC, there's a side to it. You know, I belong to a group where we just share ideas, and somebody raised an issue, and it makes a lot of sense to me. The sales of the PVC, as it were, is not so that other people or unidentified personnel will be able to use it to vote. It's actually to confirm that it belongs to members of the APC, and then you take it away from them. Therefore, they will not vote on that day. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It's not that they really want to give the PVC to other individuals to go and use it to vote, but they are taking those PVC out of circulation to disenfranchise.
Now, that's part of the things I said. You know, I said moments earlier that it's also enabling foot soldiers for the political party to go out and talk to people. Don't sell your cards. Don't do this, don't do that. And they've been coming. We've been seeing them. Some of them come in the garb of analysts, you know. They go around convincing people, don't do this, don't do that. This is what to do, this is what to do.
But is it impossible, or why hasn't, because we've not really seen media stations and organizations come out on the print media, dedicate a whole page or half a page on the print
To
media,
analyzing
or even on
some-
radio jingles and TV.
On the goings on.
Tell people, educate the people that, look, we're not representing any political party, but right now we're representing you, the people. So please do not sell your vote. Do not participate in anything that will, in any way, either result to violence or disenfranchise another Nigerian. Why hasn't the media also done this?
I must be honest with you. Quite a few media organizations that I know of, have engaged in this public service announcement and public service enlightenment to discourage people from doing that, from selling their vote and all of that. It's one thing that you must appreciate is that the political elites in this country uses poverty as a tool. It's actually to their advantage. The more poor people you have, the better it is for them. Because during election years, these poor people for 500 naira are ready to do anything and to do the bidding of the politician. It's part of the things we say on radio. That there was a day we did a poser. We said, how much is your vote worth if a politician would have to give you money, to approach you money, say, and one of our OAP says 1 billion naira. And it made sense. It made sense because my vote will put you in government and expose you to trillions, hundreds of trillions of naira. So 1 billion would be just a tiny thing. Yeah. So that would be fair exchange.
So by the time my vote cost $1 million, and
she has $1 million,
obviously,
the guy would be discouraged.
We would drain their pockets and.
So the poverty thing is a tool they're using. They're using it.
So could it also be that probably that's another reason why African politicians do not try to eradicate poverty?
That's right.
So they can always come back to use it.
That's
wow.
right.
Now this is another dimension.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes a lot of sense.
So the media should be at the forefront of, screaming this. That these people they're excited that you're poor.
But we don't seem to have the impact of the media really coming so strong on the electorate. I can tell you that. I am one electorate. And aside from the fact that I work in a media house and I have to be abreast, of happenings, and I have to keep information flow, the most important thing is just that I still see the angle of pack journalism, where we all pick information from one individual to another, not because it is strong on the media that this is exactly what to do and what not to do, and this is how to do it and not how to do it.
There's a problem with the Nigerian media. I said the other day that the Nigerian media is one of the most vibrant in Africa, if not the most vibrant in Africa. But the problem is, how independent do you expect a media to be when practitioners are suffering? Yeah. If you go to assignments, you see some journalists, you almost throw up. You see them dressed in tatters. And you ask yourself, this is a journalist?
Yeah.
So it's a problem. And I think this is also part of the thing that the politicians are enjoying. Okay. The poorer the media practitioners in the media, the better for them. Because they can just give you 5,000 naira and you look away. That's why media on election day, media practitioners would be there and something's happening and it just looks away.
Rather than speak up. Okay, I have this at the back of my mind now. Is it possible, because we've seen how, people, some desperate politicians and political parties, they resorted to character assassination, which is prevalent. And we also believe that, the window, the 6 weeks extension window has given room to all of that, death threat wishes and all sorts, character assassination, just to be able to bring down their chances of winning. Now, is it, because at the end of the day, we believe that if, the media as an organization, they make up their minds that right now, like let's say from this period, from today to the day of the election, we would not broadcast any material that is focusing on character assassination. Do you think that is possible?
It is
And
possible,
if it's
and that's what the media should be doing.
How can it be achieved? Is there any form of organization that could be petitioned or written to enforce that? Please do not, any station, any media house, that broadcast any of such material.
Yeah.
I mean, they will be sanctioned. Is it possible?
It is possible. You know, the problem with us is implementation of our laws. These things are there. The National Broadcasting Commission is there for the electronic media, and the Nigerian Press Council is there for the print media.
Okay.
But you know, people do things and get away with it. The culture of impunity. It's a societal thing. The other day, a politician came and I took him up on why do you drive around in a car that's marked with diplomatic plate number? Your father was an ambassador, not you. And even your father, who was an ambassador, cannot use diplomatic plate number anymore because he's no longer an ambassador. He used to be an ambassador. Because when you drive on the streets, you enjoy diplomatic privileges. Why do you drive in this? And you're asking people to vote for you? And you don't think those people will say, this guy does not have power, is engaged in such impunity. Can you imagine what he would do if he has power?
Breaking the law already when he's not yet
because
in
he's
power.
already living in
He's
affluence
already,
and
he's
great
already
influence.
impunity. He's
All
already...
right, Mr. Victor, let's take this call. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning.
Hello,
Good
Simon.
morning.
Hello.
Yeah, can you speak up a little bit so you can hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. Ask me a question.
Hello, Simon.
Hello.
Okay.
Where does that come
All right. Anyway, it's so very mind-boggling to know that, I mean, you describe the Nigerian media as one of the best in Africa. And the effectiveness and the efficiency of the role of the media cannot be overemphasized. But then we still cannot feel the impact of the media in ensuring that information dissemination is properly done. Anyway, before you give your response, let's take this call. Usman, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Usman.
How are you?
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm fine, and you?
Good to have you on the show. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. We should give thanks to INEC since they said they have print 80% of ballot paper, or people have 85% has collected their voters card.
Yes.
We should give kudos to them, though they fumble at the long run since 2000 and whatever 11 up to now.
Yeah.
So my fear now is that a lot of people are not being. A lot of people in my area here, they are not being educated about the voters card. I'll tell you one thing that happened towards yesterday and day before yesterday. Some guys came to me. Are you listening to me?
They came to you?
Yeah.
So they came to me. It's like they wanted to fight with me in my house, because there were some women in my area. Then those women they go to them, they collect their PVC. I don't know what they want to do with it. So I now went later to go and tell those women that you will not be able to vote, that the future of your children is in danger if they are able to do with your card. So the woman, they went in group to meet those guys at home, that where are our PVCs? So they gave it to them. Then after them, they discovered that I was the one that
educated
those
them
women to come to them. Sorry?
And they came to
That
attack
you were the one that educated them.
Yes. So they were like quarreling or wanting to take me away from my abode.
Wow.
Before my friends.
Wow.
Before my friends. So that's my fear about this media, whatever. So another thing is the INEC now. There is one young democratic party now that is giving INEC two options. It's either INEC postpone the election or INEC print another ballot paper.
The court has said they should register.
So what is INEC doing about that, and what is the orientation being given out to people every day? Because these women, what they give to them is they give them sugar, they give them salt. Salt and sugar and rice, that's all. They collect their people.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much,
Thank
Usman.
you. I mean,
But
vital.
in a situation where your life is being threatened, I think you need to report to the nearest police station. report, the incidences, and then they will take it up from
And be
there.
very, very careful,
Careful.
Usman. I mean, be watchful, be mindful, inform all your friends around where you live, what has happened to you, so that at least people can watch over you and then, inform you in case there is any threat to your life. All right, let's take this other call from Idowu. Idowu, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you
Hi,
today?
good morning.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, good morning. I'd like to make a quick comment on the issue of the role of the media.
All right.
Okay, this whole issue.
Yeah.
It is so unfortunate that the media houses have been infiltrated by the politicians. Okay, you discover that the majority, I'm not saying all, but the majority of the media houses are owned by politicians. If you want me to give example, I can start counting and I'll give you up to 6.
No, don't
call names.
don't worry, we have an idea.
Don't call names.
All right, very good. Okay, so you can't imagine when the chairman of a company is making an advert, no matter what you call the advert, whether it's a character assassination, whether it's a storing of money, when the chairman is making an advert, what do you expect the staff to do, to reject it? So you don't say where a particular political party is assassinating another. The two major political parties are involved in this. Both the PDP and the APC, they have been sponsoring some useless adverts concerning the both political parties, which is so unfortunate, especially at the level of our democracy, especially as fragile as our democracy is. They are just bent on sending the country on fire.
All right. Thank you very much,
The second
Idowu.
thing I want you to do is that the board that is supposed to be doing the monitoring is so weak. We have an institution that the institution is not empowered to implement. It's so unfortunate.
All right. Thank you very much, Idowu. Thank you very much, for your contribution. Now, sincerely speaking, if you
He
want
made
me,
some- he made some
yeah,
some
sincerely
valuable
speaking,
points.
if you want me to actually rate the role of the media over 100%, if you really want me to
The role or the
to-
efficiency
the
so far.
efficiency of the role they have played, or the effectiveness of the role of the media, and especially as it focuses on 2015 elections. Maybe the media will get a 20% from me.
You're good.
It's,
I'll give it a
you
five.
see, it's all part of the game, The poverty is a terrible thing. If a person is
And it's
poor,
hitting deep.
it is
into-
hitting
in-
deep.
in
That's why
Nigeria
the
anyway.
media is getting sucked into the whole political thing, which ought not to be.
But then, if in a situation which we experienced where the media, to a large extent, they failed in educating the people, do you think that automatically delegates that education to the people, for the people to begin to educate
All right,
others
let's quickly
on
take
the
this
role
call.
of the media?
Good morning, Odiaka.
Yeah, good morning, Victor Orhororho,
Good morning.
and the moderators there.
Good
Yes, I want
morning.
to talk of the Chibok issue.
Okay.
You see, for the president to say that the Chibok girls has been located and that they are safe in one of those, for me, it's one of those mendacious lies this government is using to mislead Nigerians. These are just propaganda to facilitate their victory in this election. And it is unacceptable. Nigerians are bigger than this sort of cheap lies and deceit. This is not the first time the president and his government has said that they have located these girls. And I want to ask, how is it possible that you have located these girls and you keep announcing it in the public and the terrorists are listening and they will still keep them in the same location that will
For
make
you
it
to come
possible
and
for you
rescue
to
them.
keep locating them all the time? It is not possible. This is the first time I'm hearing from the security agents and the president of the country announcing to the whole world that they have located where such hostages or captives are held. It should be a secret thing, and I don't know what this president and his government want to achieve from all of this line. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank you,
Odiaka.
Odiaka.
I seem to have a very big problem. When I read this, I was just like, it's okay. All right, let's take this call. Hamed, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you
Good
today?
morning.
How are you?
Very
Fine,
well.
fine.
Is it a Umkobi program?
Yes, this is the English version of Asideot.
Okay, although I don't have we don't have light in our side for now. I'm not
Sorry.
watching the program in TV. I don't know what you people are discussing on.
We're actually talking about the role of the media. The role of the media. The role media houses, that's print and electronic, television, radio, newspapers are playing in the information they are giving to the people.
The media are trying their best. Only because some media houses are impartial. But that is why some of us now we are on to Wazobia TV because we feel that Wazobia TV is giving us the best now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Telling us what is going on, most especially the program of Kobe and Chukudi.
Yes.
We like that program so much.
Thank you very much.
Program going on, that was why I called.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Ahmed. All right. Now, you were about saying something.
You see, apart from...
I'm so sorry, we have to cut. Emmanuel is calling us from local.
All right, let's take Emmanuel's call. Emmanuel, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you all.
Hi, good morning.
You're welcome.
I really thank you guys for this program. I just want to comment on the Chibok girls.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very grateful and I pray. I think that's supposed to be our prayers in Nigeria.
Yes.
All of us should pray that the Chibok girls are released. And when people still call and say the lies, the gimmick, I don't think we're ready for that. We all want the Chibok girls to be out. And so let us just pray and hope that what the president has said will come to reality. Because that is, in fact, the Chibok girls release is even better for me than the election. The Chibok girls is more important to me. So if the president says, hey, we know where they are, and soon we're going to release them, so let's pray and hope it happens. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. You see my concern on this. Yes. You see my concern on this story when I saw it, yesterday. I just told myself we should have rescued the girls. And the president should come out and tell Nigerians, we have 180 persons rescued, and they are Chibok girls. We will give you more details as soon as their parents identify that they were part of the girls that were taken away from Chibok, and we have them back. Whether they are well or not well, but at least they have been rescued, and we have their parents coming to do the identification.
You know, my position when I saw this was, the Chibok girls alive, how many of them are still alive?
Exactly.
Those who are alive, in what state
are they?
Condition.
You know.
And why? How come we could not rescue them? We're just saying, okay, they are somewhere. Like a caller said, we're jeopardizing their lives the more. It's
part of the timidity that the Nigerian media has found itself in. One of the things I tell younger professionals, younger journalists, when they're coming, as they grow up, is do not make friends, do not make close contacts with people you are supposed to cover, with people you're supposed to monitor. You remember...
You find it difficult. There's a compromise already.
That's right. You remember, what's his name? Bob Marley's song. I don't have no friends in high society. That's how it's supposed to be for a journalist.
So you
don't make friends.
That is the same thing that really affected the integrity, or that really promoted someone like Fela Anikulapo Kuti.
If you're a politician and I am a journalist and I'm covering you and we're very close friends, it becomes difficult to say anything wrong about you, even when it's true.
I've eaten from you, I've benefited from your wealth, from your ill-gotten wealth.
So that's what you find. You find journalists, they are good friends, or politicians, they are good friends, or military people. You have no business being friends with them. You do your job and you go.
But how would you, okay, now there is what we call jungle journalism. Now, jungle journalism, which is attack journalism, which is investigative journalism, a lot of people who are played neutral, who just doesn't want to be friend to anybody so that they can report very sincerely stories that they have verified, and they have lost their lives in the process. Don't you think, aside from don't you think aside from the fact that you get money being close, some people have done it and they are not close to them, and they reported true stories. and in the process, they've lost their lives.
There are risks to everything. I mean, it's like saying you want to join the military, you want to be a military person, and there are risks to it. I mean, they say that in life there are two sides to a coin. So that's the other side of the coin. There's nothing you can do about it.
But
you have
can't
to
it be
live with
better?
it.
But then
Can't
don't
it be
you, but then,
better?
because the truth is, I think it's because, of the attacks which journalists face that has made the people say, oh, I love my family, I have
So
family
pack
who depressed. So
journalism,
let me
pack
collect money from
journalism is
these
the order
people,
of the day.
and
You
I'm
rather we
fine.
pick information up from
But
everywhere
if
that
you
you can
do
get
that,
it.
they say that every society gets the press it deserves. If you do that, yes, you will enjoy whatever, but society will suffer for it.
But don't you think immunity, come on.
A level of immunity.
A level of immunity
The
should
type
be
that
enjoyed by
journalists
the
outside
media.
the country.
Exactly, they enjoy. You see them, they go to war-torn countries. They are right there covering the war as it is. And they have they enjoy so much insurance covers, which doesn't happen here.
Outside the media end, giving you insurance and all of that, which you don't have here.
But they're also protected by the government. Even
No,
though they speak against them.
Obviously,
I'm talking about in foreign nations.
In foreign nations, they do.
They're protected
Why do
by
you
the
think
government.
they fight for journalists
even when
to
they
release?
speak against them.
In the foreign government you talk about, there's also attack on the media.
Yes.
It's just that it's not frontal like what we have here.
Not attack to life.
Not open like this. Not necessarily for very advanced countries. The media is free, more or less, to do its work.
Its job.
When a media person goes to cover a conflict or a war, there is standard. Even the military. Remember, the military is a profession.
Yes.
The standard is
Don't touch the
don't touch the press, don't touch women, don't touch old people, injured people, leave them, don't touch them. Often what you have is what they call friendly fire, or accidental discharges. That's what essentially happens today, except in cases where people who are not
All right, Mr. Victor, let's take this call. Good morning, Abraham.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Banjo.
Good morning.
How is work?
Very well. Very well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, talking about the media, you see, one problem I foresee with the media, especially in Nigeria, when it comes to interview of the so-called people in high places, it's as if I don't know if it's fear or it's a kind of, the way, there was a time I was listening to interview of an international media station. The way they were bombarding the leaders of, you will know that, yes, actually asking questions about issues concerning lives and how people will live.
Actually
but when it comes to Nigerian media, you begin to ask questions about akara and pancake as if they are, it's so annoying sometimes. So that's what I think the media should do. When they ask questions, ask about issues, so that you know that if you are not competent to handle something, you don't need to be there. They don't need to play. So please, that's what I just want to say this morning.
You see, it's part of the timidity that
you
we
mentioned
talk about. You're talking to a politician who sends money into your account every month, because your organization does not even pay salary, or they delay in paying salary. 6 months, 7 months, they've not paid salary. And then one politician who sends money into your account every month. We're human. Let's even if you're an American, even if you're, you will feel for that person. You would not be able to ask questions. There's a colleague, something happened. The state government said, we don't want kabu-kabu on our roads anymore. You have to go and buy a good car for taxi, and we don't want tokumbo. It had to be a new one. The Commissioner for Transport brought out this law. And then the annoying thing was, that was okay, at least. The annoying thing was that they said, you must buy from the state government. And then a colleague was talking to the Commissioner for Transport. I expected him to ask the question, so are you saying if I go to one motor company and buy a brand new car, it will not be acceptable except I buy from the state government? Are you doing business with this? he couldn't ask that question. You
You
know why?
He would rather go
Because
behind the
when
back
he had
to even
changed
find out
hands.
how he can enjoy the facility.
It's part of the thing, you know. You remember I said on Monday, I see people,
So
you're talking
terrible.
to president or talking to IG or talking, and you say, sir, what is... I have no business with it. I look at you in the face and
Yeah.
I ask you my question.
You know, I saw a very big man being interviewed recently, and the journalist was asking, we saw that you were very happy on the day your daughter got married.
Should he have
How-
cried?
How long, I wonder, how long did you people take to prepare the wedding? I mean, from a journalist. Anyway, we have actually looked at the role of the media in a democratic society, and particularly focused on elections in Nigeria. And then we analyzed also the many sides to the postponement of the elections. And we believe that the 28th of March and the 11th of April are sacrosanct if everything is going to go well in the country. We want to say a very big thank you to all of you who have been a part of our show. And we want you to just stay glued to your television, because once you turn to channel 195, you will watch, the pidgin version of this show, Asi Day Ought. And I believe very strongly that another very interesting topic will be discussed there. Thank you for being a part of our show, all the callers and the people who have sent us one message or the other. Join us again on Monday morning for fresh news and fresh information as we bring it your way. Stay out of trouble. We love you.
Say no to violence.
And say no to violence.
God bless you.
We pledge peace.